and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about the Sigma dp1s. No, this is not the Sigma dp1s because mine died and I was a bit sad. So a few months ago, March I think it was, I bought a Sigma dp1s. Now if you don't know what this is and why it's even the camera you would want, it's a Foveon centered camera from Sigma. It's quite a little point and shoot compact thing, 28mm f4 fixed lens. Now the reason I wanted it was because of that sensor. It's a Foveon X3 sensor. Now, if you don't know what a Foveon sensor is, quick overview is most sensors, your Bayer sensors, your X-Trans sensors, have a mosaic pattern for the photo sites. That's not the case with the Sigma Foveon sensor. It's basically 3 sensors kind of layered, and it gives quite a unique look. It has its downsides, but it has a unique look. Some people say it's like digital film, and I kind of agree with that, but it died. So yeah, there's that. All right, so this is probably the worst lighting for this ever, but whatever. So the reason I wanted this dp1s was because of that Foveon sensor, that digital film look. And not only that though, but the 28mm fixed focal length. Whenever you sort of restrict yourself like that, obviously it causes you to shoot differently, to think differently. And I don't shoot wide that often at all. I'm generally a 50mm plus kind of guy. One of my favorite lenses is the 45mm f1.8 for the Micro Four Thirds system, which is giving you that 90mm field of view. I love that. That's where I'm at, But yeah, I wanted to sort of test myself a little bit with the 28mm, but it died. I turned it on. I was out shooting the last test images to make this video, which is obviously a completely different video now. And I had taken maybe 4, 5 images, turned off the camera, walked around the corner, turned the camera back on. The lens came out, it made the noise, but the screen was black. And I was like, okay, maybe it just kind of had a bit of a moment when it was booting up. So I tried to turn it off, did nothing. Took out the battery, put the battery back in, did nothing. So I was like, awesome, just awesome. So I bought this thing used on MPB. This is not sponsored at all, but got to shout out MPB. I contacted them. They took the camera back. They checked it over. They refunded me, no problem. So yeah, it was I got rid of the camera. I got my money back. But yeah, I'm left without that camera now. So I've decided to stick a 28mm vintage lens on the Sony A7, giving you that same field of view, that same aspect ratio 3:2, because the Sigma dp1s is an APS-C camera with the traditional 3:2 sensor. So getting the same kind of field of view with this. Obviously, I'm not getting that color rendering and all that sort of stuff, but I am enjoying the 28mm. I've already taken a bunch of shots this morning, and I've taken a couple of shots in this particular spot, what I took with the dp1s, so I could show you them sort of side by side on the screen, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now the dp1s images are straight out of camera raw, but then I just kind of hit auto in Lightroom, and that's what you're seeing. So not a real lot of editing gone into that. I haven't messed with the colors in the HSL or any of that, so that's the kind of colors that you're getting out of the camera. What you're seeing on this will be exactly the same thing, but obviously it's a Sony file, so it'll be clinical and clean and characterless. So here they are. Now, before someone gets all excited and jumps in the comments saying, oh, but the lighting's different. I know it is, but it clearly shows a very distinct difference in the color rendering between the Sigma and the Sony. The Sigma, as you can see, has a very distinct yellow-green tint to it, whereas the Sony is much closer to what you actually see. It's quite fun, isn't it, the symmetry. So that's one big benefit of having a 28mm lens, is like even though I'm not super comfortable shooting straight at 28mm, you can get loads in the frame, so it's great for stuff like that. So another cool thing with the wider lenses is the look-up shots. You get them real skewed perspectives and whatnot. Oh, it's a nice, interesting car. Or a guy on a scooter. Now, if you're not into the whole 28mm thing for street, which frankly I am not really, another option would be the dp2. Now, these cameras, the Sigma DP cameras, they generally have the 1, the 2 and the 3, which is like 28, 42-ish and 75mm fixed lenses respectively. So if you wanted that 42mm look, which is something that I would probably prefer, you could just take a 28mm on an APS-C camera like this little Sony X5 and it's going to give you that 42mm look. So this is what I've been doing now. I don't know if any of the pictures I got were any good because the heat's starting to get the best of me. I'm not going to lie. I don't like the heat. I am longing for October. Yeah, I think what I should actually be doing is just buying the 20mm 1.7, which many of you have already said I should have done for street. But, you know, I like to try stupid stuff. Now, it turns out the fault with my dp1s, incidentally, was a quite common fault, which is why I didn't replace it with another one. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I didn't know about this fault until it actually happened. So it's something to bear in mind if you do look into these cameras. Alright, so before I manage to finish the next bit, the Osmo died. I forgot to bring a USB-C cable to charge it, so here we go. I was talking about the Sigma dp1s as a camera and how it's like, I really enjoyed it. I liked the fact that it was a horrible camera to use. It's like actively fighting against you the whole time. You really have to use it in a manual way to get the best out of it because the auto ISO is kind of like all over the place. The auto exposure is all over the place. The autofocus is not fantastic. But, you know, people talk about slowing down and I always find that like a stupid cliche because anybody who takes any photographs with any intention always thinks about it. You know, the whole slowing down and being in the moment. It's like, come on. If you're taking photos for real, you're slowing down and you're in the moment anyway. But this camera really forces you to slow down because if you don't slow down, it's like there's no latitude with exposure, so you've got to nail it in the camera, otherwise it's going to look a mess. Same with the focus. There's a manual focus wheel on the back of it. I found that you're better off using that for most things because the autofocus was completely unreliable. Yet I still loved using this camera and it's given me a whole new appreciation for these fixed lens compacts. Now going on to 28mm as a focal length sort of overall, for street shooting, for like people shots, I don't really do that much in the way of people shots anyway, and I certainly wouldn't do it with 28mm. I don't like the look, getting up close in people's faces and getting the up the nose shots look. It's like, I don't like it. It's not something I would do. I'm always going to shoot people shots way longer. But as a focal length for like an overall scene or something where you want to show a sense of scale or something like that, that is where I see the benefit of this 28mm. And the things like the look-up shot, that's where I see the benefit of a 28mm. If I was going to buy another one of these compacts, it would almost certainly be something like the DP2, or if I was going to go sort of more premium end, it would be something like the Ricoh GR3X with that 40mm lens. Or I could just do what I said and buy that 20mm 1.7. That's probably the most sensible thing to do. Alright, so if you have any thoughts about 28mm as a focal length, is it your preferred go-to for street? Do you like it as a walk-around lens? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching.